Hey guys, TheKitch2 here. Eye2Eye sent me a PM with this video attached, the top 16 most apparent mistakes atheists make. So, for the lulz, I decided to respond to it. So, let's begin. Oh, just as a little treat, Eye2Eye, if you're watching this, I have a little surprise for you at the end of this video. So it'd be well worth your while to watch it in its entirety. Okay?
What up, y'all? It's me, Eye2eyeIIIV's, aka Josiah David, and this video is titled The Top 16 Most Imperative Mistakes Atheists Make. I'm going to be going through this list one by one. Here we go. Number 1. They continuously fail to provide any evidence that atheism is accurate and correct.
Atheism is a justified position as there is no evidence to prove that a deity or deity exists. You fail. See my videos, The Shock of God. I really recommend you avoid going down the Shock of God route because you look like a clown.
Number 2. They happen to stick with more of an unscientific attitude of name-calling rather than just debating creationists nowadays. And again, I'm still trying to confirm my email address for Blog TV to debate evolutionists.
Well, Eye2Eye, expressing frustration because of creationists lying / refusal to see the evidence being presented to them and declare that there is none is justified. For example, how many videos from me have you ignored? What's wrong? Too many facts in them?
Number 3. They seem as if they want to put forth this characteristic initiative of an attitude as if this world is supposed to come to that of a rude, cussing, swearing, disrespectful, egotistical, assertion-filled, unscientific, malicious, derogatory, God-denying people, when that world would hardly make any advancements in science whatsoever.
See last answer. By the way, this kind of language, sarcasm and whatnot, isn't used in the scientific community because it is made up of competent people for the most part. And so they don't have to deal with disingenuous fools such as yourself.
Number 4. They're usually confusing the terms evolution with variation within the kinds, and like using that as an example of evolutionism happening right before our eyes when it's not. They're confusing not only themselves, but others too.
Okay. Evolution, according to the Biological Science Pearson edition, states that evolution is any change in the genetic characteristics of a population over time, especially a change in allele frequencies. So who's more likely to be right? A college biology textbook or some buffoon on the internet?
Number 5. When claiming God is harsh and evil, besides all the misconceptions and misunderstandings, they are refuting and contradicting their very position, when it's supposedly no big deal if God already doesn't exist in their mind, and when the Bible is the very doctrine that defines what's harsh and evil.
See my video, The Bible, the most evil book ever written? There are some great moral passages mentioned about rape, and homosexuality and slavery. The link to that video is in the description.
Number 6. They claim they can be moral and can supposedly explain its origin, when soon enough they go off on a lot of vulgar gutter talk and disrespectfulness and are ignorant of the dark history atheism has played in society. Morality has had no origin. Its very source is the Lord himself. We, as sinful, fallen, fallible beings, are in no position to describe and limit morality.
Okay. What sinister role has atheism played in society and history? And again, calling an idiot is not a mistake. Oh, and about swearing? Welcome to the internet, motherfucker! I'll promise I'll never do that again.
Number 7. Degenerated atheists cannot be trusted with the word religion, because the manner in which they use it is way beyond crazy and confusing. They claim to be against religion, when they're really only out to bash the gospel, a message that is polar opposite to religion, and using all sorts of flawed reasons as to why they are against it. I might discuss that in another video.
How many times do I have to say it? Christianity is a religion you fuckwit. It has a deity, holy book, etc. Also, atheists don't believe in a god/gods. That's it. They're not attacking Christianity. Outspoken atheists are against all religions. For example, see my videos on Islam or responding to Muslims. A lot of the videos atheists make are about Christianity because that's what they're most familiar with, because they're more than likely were brought up as a Christian. For example, myself. You're a gobshite, you fail, next supposed mistake.
But they really don't seem to mind Eastern religions. For example, if I brought up Jesus, they would say, oh, no, I'm not into religion. But if I brought up Buddha, they'd say, oh, wow, Buddhism, wow. See the difference?
Yes, how many Buddhists force their religion onto others?
And it seems like they love teaming up with Muslims to profess the same sarcastic rubbish that Christians, Jews, and Muslims all worship the same God, when they're totally ignorant of the reality that Muslims have a totally different God than the Jews and Christians.
What?
Number 8. They say God doesn't exist, but then they use his name as a curse word. What is the point of keeping him in your sarcastic language if you try to profess he doesn't exist? Try to be a bit more consistent with exclamations and such, because it's very disappointing.
Habit. I use Allah personally.
Number 9. They try to profess they can't believe the Bible because of science. They can't fool me. They're really hiding behind that word to mean evolutionism and millions of years, which is not a legitimate science. And they are ignorant of the fact that nearly all branches of science were established by Bible-believing Christians, and that science has repeatedly confirmed many areas of study in the Bible. Science and the Bible go along just fine, but science does not go along well with religion and ideologies.
Actually, it is. You just are ignorant of the science, which I presented to you in my responses. Also, these scientists were rationalists. They have dropped their superstitious beliefs when they approached science. Science and the Bible are like oil and water. For example, look at Isaiah 40:22, which says, "It is he who sits above the circle of the earth, and its inhabitants are like grasshoppers, who stretches out the heavens like a curtain, and spreads them out like a tent to dwell in." Anyone knows what a circle is. It's a flat, two-dimensional object. So basically what it's saying here is that the earth is flat. And I know you think the Bible said the earth is round, is a sphere, or whatever. Yeah, no it doesn't.
Number 10. They say that Christian creation scientists and Christian creationists are uneducated, when the very exact visible appeal of current society showing a sign of cursing, cussing, swearing, gutter-mouthing, disrespectful, mean, short-sighted, narrow-minded, simple-minded, credulous, selfish, hypocritical, all-called-playing, ignorant, arrogant, insecure, vague, conscienceless, egotistical, speculating, simplistic, assertion-filled, unscientific, disgusting, backstabbing, biased, liberal, degenerate, depressed, sorrowful, violent, dangerous, suicidal, drunk, drug-taking, crime-infesting, baby-killing, sexually immoral, indoctrinated, manipulated, hallucinating, irrational, delusional, uneducated, untutored, unwise, unrighteous, unproductive, inconsistent, undetermined people, which shows absolutely no sign of an educated generation whatsoever.
Creationists are, on occasion, educated, but on the other hand are scientifically illiterate and or disingenuous.
Why would you defend the very philosophy that supports all this degeneracy. Perhaps it'd be safe to say that America used to raise up educated people, those who acknowledged and understood that there was a loving Creator who made them, and that by studying and researching the earth they could establish good, pure, real science that was a major area of study that revealed God's fingerprint in creation. People like Isaac Newton, James Clerk Maxwell, George Washington Carver, etc. Number 11. Their non-stop continuous practical game of comparing apples and oranges. For example, they like comparing God to the tooth fairy, when obviously there's no evidence for the tooth fairy, and there's abundant evidence that God is not fictional.
Yet you have presented no evidence. If there is abundant evidence, present it.
Number 12. Destroying certain words appliances. Child abuse, terrorist, brainwashing, fundamentalist, cult, uneducated, education, science, reason, logic, religion, scientist, etc. They're destroying all those words and really confusing many people with how they use them.
What?
Number 13. They claim creationists use circular reasoning in their logic, when by close observations they don't. I'll discuss this in another video. Actually, their very own religion of evolutionism has several areas of circular reasoning, like survival of the fittest. Oh, teacher, why did it survive? Oh, because it's fittest, you know, survival of the fittest. Well, how do you know it's the fittest? Because it survived. And by supposedly dating the fossils by the rocks, by dating the rocks by the fossils. Circular reasoning.
Evolution is as much of a religion as gravity. Here's the circular reasoning. The Bible is absolute truth. How do you know that? Because it said so. Do you not see that? The circular reasoning? No? See it? See it? See the circular reasoning? No? Ah, you see it.
Number 14. When we try to show them a particular verse from the Bible to show an absolute truth or authority or statement, they always go off on their oxymoron rubbish again that it's Bronze Age mythology, when there's no evidence whatsoever for a Bronze Age except a buried layer of strata with a lot of bronze in it, and when they're senselessly, egotistically underestimating a long history of meticulous, intelligent, godly, wise people who sweated their lives out to write many books for one book that would help warn and inform future generations of people about the big picture and what's going on.
Yet, most of the scientific progress happened in, the last 400 years?
Number 15. Atheists stress that Jesus didn't exist when he is the very person that divided our timeline dates into BC and AD, and there's no other way around to explain how that happened.
Link to a wiki article below, I know, but it's the best I could find. Some atheists do believe that a historical Jesus existed, and some don't.
Number 16. They're erroneous, flawed, untrustworthy judging. This is the last part. Finally, number 16. They're erroneous, flawed, untrustworthy judging. They say reality's awesome, when supposed reality is totally and continuously contradicting their cheap wishful thinking. They say Expelled, which was a documentary meticulously put together by those who willingly wanted to get everything right, is boring and lying, when in reality Inherit the Wind is a boring and lying Hollywood fantasy film that got nearly nothing right about the Scopes trial. They like to say,
no, reality is as it is, and we amend our views to it. We have the fossil evidence, for example Homo erectus, we have genetic evidence, ERVs, and so on. You have a holy book and that's all. Game over, man. Game over. Also, just so you know, Expelled had about as much credibility and science as, let's just say, your Bible. But here are some mistakes I noticed from creationists. Number 1. Lying. Constantly lying and misrepresenting the facts and evidence. Number 2. False DMCAing and false flagging. Vote bots. And other forms of censorship. Number 3. Spamming. Hint. Number 4. Refusal to look at the scientific evidence. Number 5. Overuse of creationist websites which are untrustworthy. And number 6. Quote mining, which brings me to Eye2eye's tweet. If Eye2Eye, if you're still listening to this, here's a quote mine for you for free. Evolution is a lie. Anyway, TheKitch2